Hi everyone, this is Victoria and I'm here with your special edition New Moon in Gemini reading for all zodiac signs. So if you're new, welcome. This is a bit of a new for, I think, for everyone for a lot of reasons, because now that I've brought tarot readings from two of my channels to one, then there's potentially quite a lot of you who are new to this type of readings, but I'm going to explain what the spread is going to be, how this is going to work, because I want each of you people from different zodiac signs to get a message for this new moon. It will help us navigate the energy and utilize it to its best potential and ability. So what I'm going to start with is I've got this oracle deck here, the Moonology deck, of course. We'll get 3 themes that are relevant, that are important for this new moon in Gemini. That's going to be hitting us on Monday, which is going to be May 26th. May 26th. Yes, just checking if you're paying attention. Yeah, it's a Gemini, 6 degrees Gemini. So if you have something at 6 degrees, that's probably the area of your life that's going to be impacted. I mean, the position of the planets or asteroids in your natal chart. And as always, the new moon energy is inviting us to think about our intentions and goals, give them a refresh. If we haven't done that inventory for a while, see what's relevant to you now, where your priorities lie, your loyalties lie, and what do you want to create in the upcoming cycle. When it comes to lunation events and moon cycles, the full cycle is usually considered a 6-month period. So it's essentially between the current new moon in Gemini and the next new moon in Gemini, which will happen in 6 months from now, right? So you can think about it as a kind of 28-day cycle, which is full moon cycle, like a short one, or a full moon cycle, meaning from when it is at 6 degrees Gemini to the next time it's going to be at 6 degrees Gemini. So you can also think short-term, long-term here. Plus, Gemini is a lot about information and communications, attention to details. It's the journalistic style, right? Details matter. Drilling down to the truth, like finding out what is going on based on the data. It's that sort of vibe, right? And you can see where it manifests itself in your life and where you feel like you can use more clarity, more data-based approach, quote unquote, whatever that may be, right, in the context, right, where you can use more information, more clues, more guidance to make good decisions, right? So it's not just based on an abstract vision, but actually on more specific pieces of information. Maybe it's relevant for you to look into your communication patterns and see what you can improve on, or where there's a bit of a blind spot for you, right? This is where Gemini can really support you. And of course, we'll dive deeper into the themes, and then we'll go one by one, and we'll get messages for each zodiac sign. It will be for sun, moon, and rising of each sign. So I suggest that you watch 3 readings for your sun, moon, and rising sign. Yes, I think this is it. We'll start with Gemini, of course. We're in Gemini season. Happy birthday, Gemini. And then we'll go just one by one throughout the wheel, and we'll finish with Taurus this time. There will be timestamps, so don't worry. It's going to be easy for you to just navigate between the chapters and find the sign that you want. And don't forget to watch this part with the oracle cards. All right? Okay. Yeah, I think we can get started with all that said. Oh, and last but not least, Gemini is an air sign, of course, which is about thoughts and words and, again, communication, right? It's all same kind of idea, but this is the element aspect of it, which means that if you'd like to work with nature, with the elemental energy, think wind, think sun, think chanting, prayer, right? Some kind of spells that we're using, that we're putting into the space, into the energy, right? This is just to give you some inspiration. All right, let's see what we have for the main themes. And of course, don't forget to like the video. If you're new, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. And leave me some comments. Let me know if you like this format, what you'd like to see more of, especially as I'm shaping up this new reality of my tarot channel. Because this channel used to be for twin flames only, but now I'm bringing all my tarot services and audiences into one place, so it's easier to coordinate. So yeah, we're all navigating a new land, I guess, in a way. Give me the data, please, if you get my drift. Wink wink, with the new moon in Gemini. All right, what are the themes of this new moon in Gemini? The first theme, supermoon. Emotions are running high. Yes, and especially because this is about communication. I mean, usually the full moon energy is more emotional, but because this is about communication, it can bring up emotions just by definition, because it means relationships. It means, you know, start thinking about stuff that kind of throws us off emotionally, right? That is somehow a problem. We don't normally go to places where it's all beautiful and wonderful and loving, right? We think about places and people and situations where it's not good, right? And that can give us an emotional charge. And I'll be like, you know what? Why do I have to work on my communication skill if that person doesn't even know what they want in life, right? Like, why are we putting the question this way, right? So emotions can run high. Take a breather, take a moment for yourself, regroup, reframe, reconnect, and come back to that conversation. And yes, you can come back the next day. That's also fine. The second theme, take time to breathe out. Disseminating moon. I just said it. I mean, this is not funny. You can't make this up. Yes, take a breather, take a few breaths in the moment when emotions are running high. It always helps, I promise you, always helps. And another quick tip of the week that I found for myself just this week, navigating one of the challenging situations. If you feel an urge to start speaking quickly or loudly when your emotions are running high, do the opposite. Experiment, and it's so great. I love it, I promise you. Speak a little quieter and slower. Maybe not this slow, but you know, like really, like it can be like it's okay to overdo it, but this will definitely ground you in and bring you back to the present moment, so you can focus on the meaning and not on emotion. Wow. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the new moon, a new breakthrough is coming. A new start, sorry, is coming. Yes, new moons are new starts, if anything, and it's beautiful, right? It's like starting a new poem or a new song, a new chapter of your novel. By the way, wink wink, that's another way of working with the air energy, because when we are writing down things, that's also thoughts and words, you know, just in a written form. That also counts for it. Maybe you'll finally get that inspiration to start writing a book, who knows. All right, with all that said, we'll start with Gemini and we'll go around. Because it's a lunation event, I would recommend, if you just have time for one message, you don't have time to listen to sun, moon, and rising, I do recommend choosing the message for your moon sign, because this is a lunation event. What does Gemini need to know during this new moon in Gemini? Whoa, that was a lot of cards, and I don't think I can keep them all, because there's like 6 or 7 of them. So I'm gonna, okay, that's better. I like that. A couple of cards. Yeah, the deck is kind of almost falling apart. The deck wants to talk. It's the Dreamkeeper's Tarot, by the way. Got 2 cards that flipped in reverse. You know, I don't take reversals, but they flipped, so I have to. The Tower and the Creatrix, which is the Magician in this deck. Very interesting, right? And they're both in reverse. It's like, are you delaying the Tower moment and delaying embracing your power as a result? You know, like, we are so fearful about the unknown, about the newness, about speaking our mind, about starting a new relationship, about writing that book finally. And because we're so scared, we stay in the known, but we're depriving ourselves from this powerful spot where we can embrace who we are and our magic and our gifts, and, you know, create impact for our own life and for the world. both major arcanas, by the way, so huge time for Gemini, right? See how you can relieve the fear and release the fear around the unknown. I actually, you know what I'll do? I probably post a link to my latest podcast episode on in the comments somewhere, because I feel like this is really relevant. I mean, it's going to be relevant for everyone, but specifically for Gemini, because it almost feels like a deja vu that I was just talking about it. I talked about it in the new episode of Mindfully Awake. It was about getting unstuck. You can also search for it, of course, but yeah, basically, I feel like this is going to be really helpful because, you know, I don't want to spend a lot of time explaining it now because I just did the whole episode on how to show grace to this time of your life, to the season, which questions to ask to understand where is the stuckness coming from. There's a good chance that there is some kind of emotional reaction of your psyche because it's the unknown territory, right? And then how can you prepare yourself for the launch in this new version of yourself, the new identity of yourself? For more info, go to that episode. I promise you, you won't regret it. Okay, that was Gemini. Now, let's go to Cancer. Quick shuffle. Quite an emotional new moon. Cancer. What does Cancer need to know during this new moon in Gemini? The Emperor, clarified by 7 of Cups and 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, talking of the identity and finding your new identity, what it's like, and settling into it, like this similar energy actually, just in different cards, right? And it's actually, this new moon is helping you, it's pushing you towards doing the work to kind of rebuild the shattered parts of your identity, of your soul, you know, that were suppressed or lost at some point because of the trauma, because of the fear, right? And now you have an opportunity. It's uncomfortable, but you have an opportunity to bring them back to you and to become more whole, right? To understand yourself better. And that will empower you to, you know, to write your story, to create whatever you want in your kingdom, right? To embrace that role of a ruler, an emperor, of a person in charge that make the decisions, all the decisions, right? There's no council there. The emperor makes all the decisions. What does Leo need to know? The Creatrix again, and I pulled it from the middle of the deck and I shuffled. Clarified by 6 of Wands. Love this for Leo. Oh, 10 of Swords. Okay. Okay. So again, there are some mixed feelings here that Leo may experience, right? Like you want to create the new reality. You can feel it's gonna be amazing, right? And you're gonna feel amazing, like new ways to express yourself and to be seen, just like the Leo likes it. There's also the pain of past failure. And that's actually partly of what I was talking about in on my podcast as well. That one of the reasons that we quote unquote feel stuck and don't move forward is because of the past failures we had in that certain area of our life. And basically at a certain point, the brain starts saying, what's the point? Why should I try again? And you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, for defeat, and because you're already programming your brain that way, you know, that this is not gonna go well. And you know, this could be problematic in embracing your creatrix self. So look into that fear, and if you're not ready to heal it fully, that's fine, but at least you can speak to it, to your inner child. What are their needs right now, and give them that, so that at least in the moment it's not preventing you from moving forward. And of course, if you feel like you have capacity and desire and knowledge to go deeper and do more inner work, so the effect is more permanent, then by all means, it's always a good idea. It's just that, you know, in this lifetimes, in you know, on planet Earth, we're not really supposed to be constantly in the healing mode and constantly digging into our psyche and our subconscious. It's just not the point, really. And yeah, I don't know anyone who would be doing that. I don't think that that's feasible for our brain to get through, really. Okay, next we have Virgo. So Virgo, your card is Justice. I mean, this is not your card, this is Libra's card, but this is the main message. Clarified by Seven of Cups again. And Four of Pentacles. So Virgo said looking for stability and balance, as they always do, but it may not be an option at this time because you are being faced with new situations, new circumstances, new templates where the old knowledge just won't suffice anymore. It will give you a sense of temporary safety, but it will also keep you small. It will keep you in the old place. So the sooner you realize that and just step into the unknown freely, openly, without any strict expectations or timelines, but just letting yourself be there, dive into that energy, the more powerful you'll emerge and the faster you'll find the balance that you feel you need to move forward, to set new goals and to start taking action. Because remember, the new phase is not about making a wish. It's about setting intention and starting to take action, right? There's a big difference there. Okay, what about Libra? What does Libra need to know during this new moon in Gemini? Wow, I love when that happens. The Star in reverse. Okay, that's fine. Two of Wands, Page of Pentacles. Yeah, it's very fresh energy, very hopeful, I would say. So Libra is trying to bring about something magical, something childlike, I'm even hearing, you know? Something from the fairy tale world, where you, as a kid, you felt like this would be the best if this was a reality. If these characters were real, or you could travel around the world on a carpet or broomstick, you know, or you could turn one thing into another, or yourself into something else, or you could be invisible, whatever that superpower is. You can go back into those childhood memories and come up with a specific one. And partly, of course, when we have such a craving for that kind of magic where there are supernatural abilities, it means that we're not happy with our current reality. And that's why we want that magic to just magically transform it, essentially. So that's also something to consider. You know, what was the issue in your 3D world? What needed healing? What craved healing? And maybe like there was no opportunity to do it quickly or efficiently or productively. I don't know other words for it. Right? And so there's still this kind of wishful thinking building up in you where you're imagining yourself in different worlds. Maybe it's different people. This could manifest itself in dreams. But the question is, like, why you're trying to escape to this new worlds or, you know, other worlds. It's important to get down to the details of, like, what is it all about? And then you can start healing it by accepting it, embracing it, and creating the new reality. Now let's see what a Scorpio need to know. What does Scorpio need to know during this new moon in Gemini? The High Priestess. Ooh, I like this. And how these energies are different. Well, I mean, it is a water sign as well, but still different. And we see the Hierophant and Page of Swords. Wow. Big energies, really. These are the priest and the priestess, essentially. Just saying, if you didn't know. But it's like, yeah, there is an essence of connecting to someone very spiritual who is on a spiritual journey like you, or at least is very intuitive and very conscious like you. You know, like you find they may even be practicing a different teaching from different school of thought, but there's something in the energy and the way you express yourselves, the two of you, that you find endearing and real and you know, attractive. And it's not even necessarily about romantic attraction. It's more like that simple raw attraction on like between two people. Doesn't even matter whether it's friendship or romantic or colleagues or something else. But it's something that you can't pretend, where you can pretend. It's very sincere. It's like sincere connection with someone else. And then the Page of Swords here, it's like leaving space for improvisation, right? To just go with the flow a little bit, right? Because you both are very strong energies, very powerful. And it may take you, you may get carried away, basically, with the power that you have and just like running with what you want. But it's important to also see what the universe is trying to bring about and be more humble with that. Okay, that was Scorpio. Now let's go to Sagittarius. Okay, I already see something. Page of Cups. This to me always symbolizes past, present, and future. Clarified by Queen of Wands and King of Pentacles. Interesting. To me, for some reason, it symbolizes the family where this is a child and these are the parents. And it can be, you might as well be a grown child, so you're not in this picture, but these are your parents and this is you many years ago, right? Like that's what I mean by this. These are the symbols, these are the energies. And it looks like there's some kind of dynamic between your parents or maybe between the three of you. I'm getting that it's specifically that both of them are involved, not just one. Something that comes up for you at this time. And it might be raw, it might be emotional, it might push you back into certain scenarios from the past, or create a new fear for the future, but allow it to come through. Remember, sit with it, give yourself a hug. You know, if you are in good relationship with your parents, talk to them about these times, about these memories, and ask maybe for even more detail, or talk to them a little bit about, do a little bit of the coaching and questioning on what happened and why, you know, whatever that painful experience was. But it is about the inner child work and your connection and your relationship with the parents, you know. And nobody's ideal there. So it's like, there's no chance that there are parents out there who did everything perfectly well, or at least that the kids think so. No. So there's always something to talk about, you know, and to discover and to look at and to work on. But yeah, it's important to keep doing it. It brings so much healing and freedom that I just can't oversell it, honestly. With all that said, we're moving on to Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know? Three of Swords. Okay, so admitting to some painful past, clarified by Nine of Wands and Three of Wands. This is also about intention setting, by the way. The interesting part is that in this deck, Nine of Wands does not move. If you notice, the guy, the knight, is actually standing behind the armor. So definitely not doing anything. And so there is it's also taken me towards my podcast, to be honest with you. But basically the idea is that because of the heartbreak that you've experienced, you may not necessarily want to move forward. You may want to like wait and see what happens. You kind of like send your message to the universe, and then you wait and see whether the universe is going to bring it to you, what's going to unfold. You want to see what happens before you're ready to invest your energy. And this could be tricky because it really should be the other way around. And that's how you show trust and respect and love towards the higher power and life in general. So be careful there, Capricorn, because you're onto something and you can discover something beautiful, but don't get caught up in emotions too much, you know. Again, you can take a step back, you can take a breather, and then come back in a better energy and see, you know, where you're taken. Let's see where Aquarius needs to go. Sorry, what does Aquarius needs to know? Where does Aquarius needs to go? I like this. This is like Freudian slips. What does Aquarius need to know? Two of Swords. Clarified by Knight of Swords and the Tower. Oh yeah, Aquarius is going somewhere. Knight of Swords can also be about communication, conversation. But there is some kind of inner conflict that you have within yourself, Aquarius, right? And yeah, I mean, you are an air sign. We are talking about new moon in an air sign. and this is an air card, and this is an air card. So of course, it's all like all this overthinking that you're usually so good at is amplified. And that's the analysis paralysis state that I was also talking about in my podcast. There is an inner desire to move, but you know, the inner conflict doesn't let you go there. And moreover, you experience something that almost like cuts you off, like almost like this, it's something happens that makes you want to quit on your dream or your goal or whatever it is. So I would say again, honor the timing, see it with that Tower energy, live through it, whatever it brings. Usually it's some kind of closure, destruction, you know, or like finish line. So sit with it, with the energy, you know, get some insights out of it, and then, you know, you can decide on the next steps. But honor that not as a delay, but as an important detour. Yeah, maybe it's a detour, maybe your overall journey is going to take a few steps more, but this is giving you important information again. That was Aquarius. Sorry about a little bit of an abrupt change. Yeah, I had to pause the video for a few minutes, but we're back, and I actually finished the reading for Aquarius. So now we're moving on to Pisces. What does Pisces need to know during this new moon in Gemini? Remember that these are messages for Sun, Moon, and Rising of each sign, including Pisces. Also, we are approaching the end of the month, which means that I'm going to be uploading June horoscopes, and I'm also going to be uploading them on this channel now. So if you are coming to me because you know me from Mindful Bamboo, this is now the channel where everything's going to live. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button not to miss anything. Okay, Pisces, you've got the Hermit. That's Virgo. That's actually the opposite energy. Very interesting. Clarified by Two of Swords and Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, so we saw Two of Swords at least for one other sign. But yeah, basically you're working through patiently, working through the inner conflict, through your mind getting in your way. You know, there is some kind of fear that your brain is yelling at you, basically. And this is the patience and grace that you're supposed to show, and kind of you get into that Gemini mind in terms of being a journalist, being an investigator, and putting in the work and finding out more about this topic of the topic of your fear, right? Whatever it is, listen to it. You can set your intention for prayer and meditation to get more about it, or you know, set your intention for the dream, or ask your ancestors to support you, right? But understand better where it's coming from. There is some opportunity for healing here, deep healing that will unfold more of who you are and why you're here and where you're going. But it's very important for you to, before you can focus on what does the good look like and looking into the distant future, it's very important not to lose sight of this fear and be able to not necessarily get rid of it. I don't know whether you'll be able to get rid of it completely, but at least to acknowledge it, to accept it, to receive it, you know, in a good energy, without judgment, without shame, but meaning that having the intention of, you know, accepting this is like, this is part of me. Yes, it's part of my story. I'm actually interested to know more, not turning away from it. That's what that part of your identity and that inner child needs you to give them support and attention and love without judgment. Okay, we move on to Aries now. What does Aries need to know about this new moon in Gemini? During this new moon in Gemini. Queen of Wands, clarified by Three of Pentacles and Page of Swords again. So you are gonna meet a collaborator, and that could be, the Queen of Wands could actually be your sign, because this is fire and you're a fire sign, but it could be another fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag. I have a sense that this is someone else that you're meeting. that you're gonna partner with and something important. But it's like this person is gonna appear in your environment quite suddenly. So it's not gonna be logical, and it may take a bit of a resistance first, and then you'll overcome the resistance. The main ask is to be patient with those energies and be open-minded as much as you can. Work on your emotional intelligence, etiquette of communication, tolerance, all these things. And partly one of the reasons why it might be intimidating or you may have doubts is because this person is quite strong-willed, strong reputation, and you may feel threatened that they will want to do things their way, or that they will see right through you and through your fears, and that's intimidating. But listen to that storyline that you're telling yourself. Sit with that. Do not deprive yourself of the opportunity to work with someone who can really actually lift you up, whether it's personally or professionally or both. This person is on your path for a reason, so honor that, and at least in Gemini spirit, get more information before you make decision. Next we go to Taurus, and that will be the last sign for today. What does Taurus need to know about this new moon in Gemini? All right. At least it wasn't 10,000 cards. We have the Fool in reverse. Very interesting. Clarified by the Fates in reverse and Six of Swords. So it seems like you have mixed feelings about embarking on an adventure. You're looking for more balance and stability, and it seems like the adventure is more of unknown and instability, and being almost like the slave to the will of the higher power, of the divine. Right, like whatever the fates is, the wheel of fortune, whatever that a wheel of fortune is gonna turn, wherever life's gonna take you, it all feels unstable, and that's not really what you want, right? But the truth is that a lot of times stability is found within instability and the unknown, because you get yourself into a completely new space, completely new environment, completely new energy, and it will be uncomfortable for a moment there, right? But this is where you can also use the element of air and do the breathing, do the meditation, sing a song, whatever it takes to get yourself through that first shock of discomfort. And then the magic will begin, because these are also major arcana, so you don't want to delay or resist the divine intervention in this case. The divine intervention is trying to bring actually balance and, how do I say this, and substance to your journey. Balance and substance is what I'm hearing right now, right? They want to bring something good that's you're supposed to experience. But if the longer you resist, the more painful it will feel. And it's almost like by the time you actually get to the good thing, because there's no way of completely avoiding it, you're going to be tired and you may not even appreciate it for what it is. So don't do that. There's all this, it's also possible, said all the words, also possible that there's somebody on your path that you'll meet very soon who embraces this full energy of traveling lightly, of having fun with it, experiencing life one day at a time, not worrying too much, not rushing anywhere, not chasing goals. And this person will be such a drastic difference to what you are used to that you can actually learn a lot from that. But the initial reaction may be a resistance of like, oh, that dude doesn't know what they're doing, like, oh, they don't have a clue. Wow. But actually there's magic there. So pay attention, talk to the person, observe, be curious, don't make assumptions. Okay, I hope this was useful to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all. Please don't forget to love the love the video, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, bye.